Have you ever noticed the tiny details in video games? In Grand Theft Auto, it's common for players to complete all the missions and search for every Easter egg. But there's one detail that remains unanswered. With GTA 6 on the horizon, I revisited all the GTA games and thought of something interesting. What month does each GTA game take place in? So I decided to do some research and figure it out. Using facts, evidence, and a bit of detective work, we're going to solve this mystery. But wait, just how exactly will we do this? I mean, there has to be some rules in place to ensure I'm not picking a random month for the sake of it. To determine the month as accurately as possible, we need criteria that will support a well-informed guess. And so I've come up with some important guidelines that will help us along the way. Number 1. If a game features seasonal events like Christmas or Halloween, these clearly indicate specific months. Rule number 2. The weather is a reliable hint, with snow signaling winter and warm, dry conditions pointing to summer. Which leads into number 3. NPC clothing.
And you jacked up!
If a pedestrian is wearing jackets and scarves, or shorts and a t-shirt, it can clearly suggest the season. Rule number 4 is that radio and news broadcasts often include seasonal reports or event updates that can help establish a timeline. Number 5 is the length of daylight hours. Shorter days usually signal winter, while longer days suggest summer. It seems straightforward but often overlooked. And a bonus clue is to keep an eye out for pop culture references, like movies or music, which might offer additional hints. With our criteria established, we're ready to dive in.
Ryder, not this again!
Our adventure starts with GTA 3, set in Liberty City, which is directly based off of New York City.
Let's lay our cards on the table.
The game has a dark and chilly vibe that feels like autumn. The sky is always grey, and it rains a lot, making it seem cold and wet all the time. One of the most intense moments in this game is when the player is instructed to eliminate Salvatore Leone.
Make sure he doesn't reach his club alive.
Liberty City is often overcast, and during the mission, the skies are in fact rainy and gloomy.
Wasted!
Another tense moment is when the player provides support to 8-Ball as he plants explosives on a container ship.
Come back, brother, when you have the money.
He narrowly escapes, but the rain and fog add to the somber mood. All this evidence helps us decide that GTA 3 is set between October and November of 2001. But things weren't going to stay gloomy and bleak for long, because the mood was set to change when the series did a complete 180.
Been saving for a rainy day.
The next installment went down south to Vice City, a city that is loosely based on Miami, Florida. The main storyline involves a hurricane warning, a common occurrence in Miami during late summer, and was even heard in the radio announcement.
All bridges and some roads in the Vice City metropolitan area have been closed because of a severe weather warning.
A second announcement goes out later in the game.
We interrupt your programming to inform you all bridges in the Vice City metropolitan area have been reopened. Hurricane Hermione has not hit the city. Sorry for any inconvenience. We thank you for your patience. Now, back to the show.
What's important to consider is that the game is set during hurricane season, but is largely sunny, suggesting it's summer.
Even those Cuban refugees are cutting themselves a piece of some nice action.
I just stumbled upon the biggest clue in our investigation. Just look at the time in this example. It's 5:30 AM and it's fairly light out. For comparison, in real-world Miami, the sun rises around 7 AM during winter, so we can rule out most of the winter months. NPCs wore light clothing, showing that the weather was warm. With all this evidence, we can confidently say that GTA Vice City was set in August 1986. This is where things got interesting, because there were many conflicting events and weather patterns. We moved from Vice City to the West Coast, specifically the state of San Andreas.
What up?
We almost got the hood under control, man.
This area included Los Santos, San Fierro, and Las Venturas. modeled after LA, San Fran, and Vegas. The Mission Riot mirrors the real-life event LA Riots, which occurred in April 1992.
Ain't nobody gonna be riding in my hood.
I don't know about that, Holmes. Look, the whole city's going up.
And the in-game events closely follow the timeline of the actual riots, aligning the game setting to early 1992.
I'm gonna check out the city and see what I can see.
You be careful out there, CJ.
But we're given a curveball,
How would you like to hit the St. Mark's Bistro?
because in the mission St. Mark's Bistro, CJ visits Liberty City and it's covered in snow, suggesting late winter or early spring. This brief visit to a snowy Liberty City implies winter weather, likely late winter transitioning to spring. But this is where things get tricky.
What?
License plates are dated June 1992, but Rockstar missed something that throws us off completely. The songs featured on the game radio don't match the timeline. For example, Dr. Dre's Nothing But a G-Thang was released in December 1992, which wouldn't make sense if the game was set in late 92 or early 93. This is the hardest game to pinpoint so far, and based on our evidence, it's clear Rockstar Games didn't do a great job with continuity.
That ain't fair, man.
What we do know, it's snowing in Liberty City and the real-life riots happened in April. So, we'd have to take a guess that this game takes place sometime between March and April of 1992.
You see? You can't trust the system, man.
From the sunny, warm San Andreas, we return to Liberty City in Liberty City Stories. This game is set during the time of political turmoil and organized crime.
God help us all. I've waited a long time for this.
It has a gloomy, deep autumn feel that matches an October setting. The overall atmosphere, including the weather and lighting, is consistent with this season. Another interesting fact is that there is snow during the side mission Car Salesman, suggesting a late autumn setting. The occasional snowfall indicates that winter is approaching, but it is still mainly autumn.
I got something for you. You're gonna love it. It should be fun.
This feature was only included in the PSP version. However, the biggest giveaway is that the official game manual says it starts on October 30th, 1998. This date sets a timeline for the game's beginning and matches our data, making GTA Liberty City Stories set in November and December of 1998.
Back where you belong.
Hey, we're both back. You and me, we did it, huh?
You know it.
For the next installment, we return to Vice City, but this time it's a bit different.
I don't know, Sergeant. This is getting heavy.
It's set slightly earlier, and the city feels rougher, with lots of criminal activity.
I don't think they're a good scene.
In the mission Last Stand, our first clue is right in front of us. Christmas decorations are visible in some parts of the map. Holiday lights and decorations in areas like Little Havana suggest the game is set during the holiday season. This is further backed up when a character named Martinez mentions Happy Holidays in the mission Brawn of the Dead.
I'm turning states. I'm gonna ruin you, your brother, Mendez, everyone. Happy holidays.
This dialogue reinforces the idea that the game takes place around late November to December. It's important to note the radio announcements about hurricane warnings again. There's just something about Miami always having hurricanes.
Weather forecasters are predicting a stormy time ahead for Vice City as Hurricane Gordy threatens to make landfall in the South Keys.
I wonder if we'll encounter them in the next GTA game. Here's a fact for you. Did you know that hurricane season in Miami runs from June 1st to November 30th? This is important to consider when we make our calculations. What's often overlooked is the number of in-game events and missions based on real-life events from late 1984.
Look, Barry, when I agreed to play Vice City, I didn't expect it to be my swan song.
It's no problem, mate. Just some nutcase trying it on.
References to cultural and historical events anchor the game in that time frame.
Hey, aren't you?
Phil, mate. Phil Collins.
Let's do the meet and greet another time, eh?
For example, Phil Collins performs in one of the missions based on his real life tour in late '84.
Hi Vic, what do you think of the show?
Killer.
Cheers.
An in-game advertisement for Push Up, the movie, directly references Rocky IV, released in late 1985.
You were the king, Bruno. Nobody could touch you. I don't care. I sell insurance now when I drink too much.
This summer, Partial Pictures proudly presents
Bruno!
With this evidence, we can confidently say that GTA Vice City Stories is set between late November and December of 1984. It seems Rockstar Games were starting to improve their continuity issues, but things were about to get trickier. For GTA 4, we head over to Liberty City, a detailed and realistic recreation of New York City. The leaves on the trees vary from yellow to red, indicating an autumn setting. The character's breath is visible due to the cold weather, typical of autumn months.
How was I to know?
The condensation of breath when characters speak or move highlights the chilly autumn air. Even NPCs wear coats and warm clothing, suggesting cooler temperatures. The general public is dressed in layers, reflecting the drop in temperature typical of October and November.
You got a good look about you, and I'm lucky with my gut feelings.
My favorite mission in this game is 3-leaf clover. Aside from the intense bank robbery and indirect introduction to Luis.
Hey, what's your name, son?
Luis, but this ain't such a good idea, bro.
The police chase is made tenser by the cold atmosphere.
I'll leave you boys to it.
Because of the warm clothing worn by characters and NPCs, mixed with the visible breath evaporation, I would say that GTA 4 takes place in November 2008. GTA Advance is extremely hard to pinpoint. We know that it takes place a year before the events of GTA 3. In the mission Love of Money, 8-Ball burns his hands, which explains why his hands are bandaged in GTA 3.
I know a place on the edge of the red light district where we can lay low, but my hands are all messed up, so you better drive, brother.
However, on Rockstar Games' official website, under the Liberty City newspaper, there's an article that describes 8-Ball being captured and convicted of 85 charges of owning a gun without a license. It also explains that his hands were burned because a police officer poured hot fat on them during a struggle to arrest him.
Okay, let's do this then. I can set this baby to detonate, but I still can't use a piece with these hands. Here, this rifle should help you pop some heads.
There are two very important things to note. The news article is dated October 18, 2001. And this leads directly into the GTA 3 introduction cutscene, where we see Claude and 8-Ball being transferred by the LCPD. With this in mind, we're left to make an educated guess that GTA Advance actually takes place just a few months before GTA 3, sometime in July or August of 2001. The two original GTAs are quite tricky to figure out, as there aren't too many clues to use, but I'm really comfortable with our findings. In GTA 1, all 3 cities have no extreme winter or summer, which could mean a spring or fall seasonal setting. Based on this rough estimation, I would place GTA 1 around April to May. I wasn't lying when I said that the clues were limited. If I missed something, please let me know in the comments, and we'll get others to verify it. This isn't the only one that made me scratch my head. The game that followed in the series, GTA 2, it's important to note that the weapons in the game are futuristic, but the vehicles are distinctively old. The only suitable clue that we can use is again the weather, which has no extreme seasonal patterns and is largely calm and consistent, suggesting either spring or fall. Given the limited amount of clues, GTA 2 most likely takes place in September. But here is something that we need to acknowledge. Since these were the first games in the now iconic series, I highly doubt that Rockstar would be focused on providing in-game dates. At the time, these games were groundbreaking, especially considering that the top video games then were Mario and Sonic. GTA started as a one-man band to eventually become the headline act, and it was these next spin-offs that would add to the GTA festival lineup.
Ah, Mr. Lewis.
Hey, what's the one-man band?
The stories for GTA 4 and its 2 DLCs, The Lost and Damned and Ballad of Tony, occur at the same time and even intertwine with each other.
Okay, man, I got it. But you should chill out, bro.
There would be some chilling out, because it is safe to assume that both of the DLCs take place during October and November. We're flying over to Los Santos, where the sunny and warm climate with long daylight hours points to the late summer season. But there's just one problem, because Rockstar Games throws us a curveball like they always do.
I had no idea it was gonna get that hot.
At this point, I'm starting to think it's on purpose. There's a mission called Bury the Hatchet, and in this mission, the player boards a plane and revisits North Yankton. You know, that snowy place during the prologue? It's a state located in the Midwest, and there's snow everywhere, implying that winter is already underway. Now, here's an interesting question for you. If it is summer in Los Santos, how is it snowing in the Midwest when it's only 6 hours apart by plane?
Hey, you're wasting your time.
Is that why you flew out here? Huh? Tell me I'm wasting my time?
Despite the sunny beaches and relaxed atmosphere, the evidence right in front of us suggests that GTA 5 takes place sometime between September and October 2013. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, because for the final game, GTA Chinatown, the month is in the start menu.